Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz here on this Tuesday. We're glad that you've joined us here on the program, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J. Smith Construction and Excavation, and Sensor Green. Again, you can call the program as you all have done for so many years. You can comment on YouTube and Facebook. We'll get those comments. A lot to talk about. Auburn back on the court tonight on the road at Texas. We'll break that matchup down. We'll talk about everything regarding both of these teams and kind of what goes into it. Have some quotes from Coach Pearl leading into this. We've got the college football playoff coming up Thursday and Friday. So a lot to discuss. Got some recruiting news that's out there as well. Some guys that are in the portal. Georgia just had one of their defensive guys go in the portal earlier today, and he's probably going to be highly sought after. So we'll see what happens with that. But, again, you're seeing a lot of moving and shaking in the all season, which you expect to see. And Auburn's already picked up a couple of guys. Still, like I said yesterday, Randy, Jeremiah Alexander was the number one player in the 22 class here in the state of Alabama, number 18 player overall. He didn't forget how to play football. It didn't work out for whatever. This is not a shot at Alabama. It didn't work out for whatever reason there. They had coaching changes. Maybe he moved to another position. So he's going to move on and try to play somewhere else. And I think Auburn really, really wants Jeremiah Alexander. He's going to look at Clemson. He's going to look at Ole Miss. He's going to look at Oklahoma. But he was hosted this past weekend with Anquan Fagans and a couple other guys from the Thompson teams from the last several years. Caleb Harris was also one of his hosts. So, again, this is a Thompson pipeline right now. I told you on the podcast yesterday, we went from a desert, the Sahara, to an oasis flowing down 280. Maybe he'll be another one of those players. Look, I'll always take my chances with a guy that is a five-star plus guy as highly as ranked as he was.
Well, you can miss on recruiting, so I'm not going to argue that. But where I will take a chance is on an in-state Alabama high school kid from one of the best programs in the state, coached by one of the best. And no, it didn't work out at Alabama, and you really need to look at the reasons that it didn't, because it's not like most that go there don't work out. I mean, most of the time when they go get the number one recruit in the country, or in the state of Alabama, it ends up working out pretty well. So he's got to look at himself in the mirror and see why it didn't work out also. But I'm with you. If I'm going to go out there and take someone, I'd much rather take that person from a pipeline that you're trying to build with Thompson, with some guys that he's played with and know well, even though they were probably a good bit younger, but know one another. So I'm all about it. Jeremiah Alexander was one of those that jumped on the scene. He was a man-child. At 14 years old, he was 6'2", 215 pounds, starting at linebacker or outside linebacker for Thompson High School.
And hasn't grown any since then, Bob.
Yeah, he's just
gotten bigger.
He's put some weight on, and I'm sure that lack of height.
Right.
And, when you look at someone at 14 and they're 6'2", 215, you got to speculate on where they're going to be. Sedarian's one here in our community. Sedarian's been about 6'4" since he was 13.
Right.
Since he was in the 7th grade, and he hasn't gone up. Sedarian's one of those that if he would have gone to 6'8" or 6'9", you may be talking about him in basketball as much as we are in football. And just a wonderful athlete. But it's really hard to look at a 13 and 14-year-old and speculate on where they're going to end up in their growth cycle. But one thing about Jeremiah Alexander, he's a high motor. Has bulked up to about 250 pounds. So it's a versatile player that you can do a lot with. So I'm back with you. Now, I'm not going to spin it. There's a reason it didn't work out at Alabama.
Who knows what it is?
Who in the world knows if that's some players in front of him that he just couldn't beat out? If he would have hung around, he would have ended up having his chance there.
Well, he's been there, 2 years?
2 years.
So,
yep.
And I like that that time frame. If it doesn't work out with you somewhere, I said that, you know that. That's kind of been my solution with the portal. You know, give yourself a chance to see if it'll work. And if you can be there for 2 years and you don't see any progress or whatever the reason is, then go find something different. But don't stay somewhere 6 months. Don't do what the Oregon quarterback just did from Hawaii and sign on the dotted line a month later. You already gotten in the portal and gone somewhere else. You know, I think these kids are selling themselves short, you know, in the long run more than anybody by looking out there and always being, I guess, tempted and enticed by the portal as an option out there. Go work hard, see if it'll work out for you, and if it doesn't, move on to somewhere else. But like you said, there are a vast number of reasons why people leave places. Mm-hmm. And we don't know why he left, and we don't know why he's leaving, but I do know they had a major coaching change during that time frame. I do know that he moved positions up there. Well, look, we saw Keontae Scott this year. I mean, he got in the portal. Keontae Scott's been at Auburn 3 years. He's been a safety. He got moved to corner, played horrible there. Didn't see much playing time really outside the first 4 ball games. Kind of went away. We even talked about it on this show. We said, where's Keontae Scott? And you and I both said 2 years ago we thought he was the best player on the team as far as from an athletic standpoint and what he was able to do. He's in the portal. He's going somewhere else. I don't wish him anything but success. But he stayed for 3 years. He moved positions. It didn't work out. Jeremiah Alexander was at Alabama for 2 years. May have been as much his issue as it was anybody at Alabama. Who knows? But my point is, Bo Nix graduated from Auburn, went there, played for 3 years, went to Oregon, almost won a Heisman, almost won a national title. It works out for some, and for others it don't. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll also see Jeffrey Mba and see if he actually pulls the trigger. I don't know that he has pulled the trigger as of when I came in here. Had not seen anything official there. You know, we just got the kid from Sam Houston State, which we talked about yesterday. You know, great numbers, Conference USA all conference player. But again, you're playing in a smaller school and in a different conference. The speed of the SEC, he's a good piece to come and plug in out of the portal in a need position on the defensive line.
I think we've done a pretty good job of going into the portal and finding guys that can at least take snaps and not be a detriment to the defense when they come in. Sam Houston State, 11 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. I mean, I'm not expecting him to come in and burn it up. But we need warm bodies. And the warm bodies that we have chosen through DJ Durkin in this defense, I think they've worked out pretty well. I don't think we could have asked for much more. You know, if you're going to get a difference maker, you got to go up to Highland Home and you got to get Keldrick Falk and you got to get him to sign on the dotted line and you got to develop him and you got to hope that he's going to be an all-SEC player. And he is. That's happening. But I don't think you go in the portal to Sam Houston State and think that you're going to get the next
that's not
would-be NFL player.
No.
So I really trust this defensive staff. The ones that we have gotten they've been factors. Have they been massive factors? No, but I don't think anyone that goes out there, unless they spend the big-time dollars for, say, an edge rusher that's one of the top ones in the country, and we're starting to do that too. But along with those guys, you got to have pieces that are plug-and-play guys, and he looks like he's one like that.
We had Philip Bleedy this year. I mean, no all-star, but
no, Isaiah Rake, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at Mausi. He probably was the better of the bunch at linebacker. I mean, he led Auburn in tackles in several games. So that's not why you go in the portal at this time of year to go find a 5-star All-American that's going to come and be a first-round draft pick.
Not from Sam Houston State.
Well, from really anywhere. I mean, there's not any of those guys hovering around out there at this time of the year.
Sometimes you can pull them away from other programs, and we saw Caleb Downs do that from Alabama and go to Ohio State, and it happens. We're hoping Jackson Arnold's the same way.
Most of the time, those things are already
they're predetermined.
I mean, that's not Caleb Downs is going to get in the portal and go after a sweepstakes and see who can come in there and – I mean, that had already been predetermined that he was going to go to Ohio State. My point is basically what you're saying. If you go get a kid from Sam Houston State, you're looking at potential. You're looking at a ceiling. You're looking at a guy that, hey, come get in this program, and he can learn and grow, and we can get good minutes out of him, and he can fill a void. And maybe he becomes a better player himself through the transition and coming to a team like Auburn in the SEC. On the flip side, like Jeremiah Alexander, he's been in an SEC program for 2 years, hasn't seen much playing time, moved positions, came out of high school like Jackson Arnold is one of the highest-ranked recruits in the country. Maybe he can come in and under a new staff and under a new regime find himself and be the player that, he was ranked coming out of high school. We'll see how that works out. Almost to the end of the first segment here. We come back, we'll dive into Auburn basketball, obviously, on the road tonight against Texas. Some really good games tonight. You got Tennessee going to Florida. Tennessee continuing to hang on to that number one spot in the country. They'll be tested better than they've been tested all year to this point. I'm not saying that, Tennessee hasn't played some tough teams. They have. But when you compare their schedule to Auburn's, you compare it to Alabama's, you compare it to Duke's, some of those teams like that, they haven't had the strength of schedule that those teams have had. They're going to have a dose tonight when they travel down to the number 6 team in the country in Florida. Florida just lost a high-scoring battle against Kentucky on the road. Now they return the favor and they get a tough team coming into their house. So we'll see how that plays out. When we come back, we'll break down the Auburn-Texas matchup, take your comments and your phone calls. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Are you looking for a great deal on a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC full-size truck? Check them out. Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierras side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. Take your choice of brand new 2024 Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off, or 0% financing plus no payments till springtime. Here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Cincy Green. Bruce Pearl said Texas' collection of guards and wings will be the best Auburn has faced so far this season. If you look at their record, again, they come in 11-3. They're 0-1 in the conference. They are led by a freshman up front, which is obviously a guy that we see a lot around the country, a lot of freshmen leading teams. That doesn't really mean anything. You can't really dive into that too much. But Auburn, on the flip side, has gotten a lot better at defending out front. You and I talked about it on the podcast this morning. Feel like Auburn's, before I even saw the point spread, and it's 10.5, I said, I think Auburn should win by 10. And it's not because I think Auburn's going to go shoot the eyeballs out. It's because they're going to play the same style of defense every single time they go on the floor, which causes problems for everybody. So, again, the intensity and now if Auburn were ever to have a night where they didn't hustle as hard, they didn't play as tough, now, again, you bring a team a lot closer to you. But if you play the defense that Auburn plays and the style they play, it's going to really limit teams and how much they're going to be able to score the basketball. So that's kind of my analysis on that, but they're going to have a couple guards that can really play.
Trey Johnson, number 6 overall recruit in the country last year, is the one that Brett's alluding to, a tremendous guard, and the guard play for Texas will need to be exceptionally good to beat this Auburn team when you look at their matchup on Saturday with Texas A&M and how Texas A&M exposed them in the perimeter, in the post. Their perimeter, their perimeter shooting was
2 of
abysmal.
19.
They were 2 of 19 shooting from three-point range, 10.5% three-point shooting percentage for Texas A&M, but get to 80 points. And on the opposite side, hold Texas, who knocked down 7 three-pointers to only 60 points in the ball game. So it was a runaway win for A&M. We saw a lot of that in the opening weekend, though. Unless you were really good, like Florida, at Kentucky, when you go on the road, it is a struggle to go to some of these home venues and win basketball games. And all the really good teams, including Auburn, ran away from their opponents in that opening game. So I don't know how much you can read into that, but I do like the matchup with Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
I think any matchup with Auburn that is really led by a point guard that's got the ball in his hands and he's needing to create against this Auburn defense is going to be a problem because we've gotten bigger, we've gotten more physical, and our own ball defense with Denver Jones and Chad Baker-Mazar and Miles Kelly with his length, and then you bring Tahad in, and Tahad kind of extends that pressure out even further and makes it a little bit tougher to even get the ball up the court when he's in the game. It really extended it out to that half-court strike. I love what we're doing, guard play on the defensive side, so I love this matchup for Auburn when I look down at it.
Yeah, you can tell Texas A&M just ate Texas up inside. They got to the line 32 times, made 24 free throws. If you look at Texas, 18 of 52 shooting, 7 of those came from outside. So a third of their points came from behind the arc. And on the flip side, if you're Texas A&M, you only make 2 threes but score 80, like you said, and you were 27 of 57 shooting. It was obviously a priority to get the ball down low. when you add that into what Auburn was challenged with this week, coming out of that game on Saturday, getting beat on the boards by Missouri, it could set a stage where if Auburn's determined, it could be a massacre inside, and Auburn really try to dominate inside and prove a point. So again, I like the matchup, like you said. Can we defend, or can they defend our guards too outside? That'll be a question. We're going to shoot. We're making between 9 and 11 threes a game, and sometimes we get them early. Sometimes it takes the entire game. But we all know, and we've talked about it, and people have watched this show forever. We knew that the magic number of the year of the Final Four was 10 made threes. You make 10 threes against anybody, you're going to be probably where you need to be. So we expect Auburn to clean it up on the boards today. Maybe see a little bit more out of Dylan Cardwell. Only saw 15 minutes from him Saturday.
Well, I think it's a matchup when we have been exposed a little bit defensively. It's when we've gotten off our spots, matched up with guards on the perimeter. And Duke beat us by hitting 6 3-pointers with one player.
I don't know if he scored since.
He didn't shoot again in that basketball game in the second half, so we did clean it up in the second half. But I think that's a good matchup. You know, we went back to a couple of examples from Saturday's game with Tahad. Tahad dribbled the air out of the ball a few times. Well, unless you have a moment that you can go back to in film study and say, look here, look, this is where we could have moved the ball. Ball may end up back in your hands. When it did end up back in your hands a couple of times where you weren't the one creating, you knocked down 3-point shots in the ball game. So it's not like once you give it up, it's not coming back to you. And we haven't seen that out of Tahad much this year. So it was a little bit of an odd setup the other afternoon, but I think that's going to be a good thing for Auburn moving forward to have that. And I think matchups like this with Texas, where they really shoot the ball well from the perimeter, is a really good matchup for Auburn. I hope that we double them up in points in the paint. And they lost the rebounding margin against Texas A&M by 10, 41-31. So winning those two stat categories, I think, would be really good for tonight's game for Auburn, is to win the rebounding margin and have more points scored in the paint.
Texas definitely not a team anywhere comparable to some of the teams Auburn has played. Now, again, you can't get complacent, but the reason you test yourself and you go against Houston and you go against Duke and you go against the teams that you played out in Maui and you played the national runner-up in Purdue is that you go into conference play and you're not going to be in shell shock by anything that you see from any team. So Auburn's not going to – again, I see what Bruce Pearl's saying about, you know, challenging at the 2 and 3 spots. But Texas is not going to have anybody that Auburn hasn't already played that may be better at those positions. So they know what kind of – really Auburn will determine – and that's what all good teams have happened in football and basketball. It's really not about the opponent. It's about what you do and how much effort you bring. And if Auburn plays up to the level that they are capable of playing each and every night, it's going to be tough for anybody to beat them. It doesn't matter where they play. Now, again, it's almost impossible to get up to a level as high as you can possibly get from one Saturday to a Wednesday to another Saturday. We saw it last year. You beat South Carolina by, 40 points at home? They were the number 1 team in the conference last year. You turn around and play Kentucky at home, and you end up losing. It's hard, and you're like, how'd you not get up for Kentucky? Well, you just played the number 1 team that you placed 3 days prior to that and blew them out. So it's human nature to kind of let your guard down sometimes. But I think with it being the first road trip in the conference, I think Bruce Pearl will have the team ready to play. All right, a lot more to come when we come back. Stay tuned.
For air that's cool and clean, call Senza Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Senza Green.
Turn to the experts at Senza Green and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit sensagreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Senza Green.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
The results are in, and Game Day Men's Health in Auburn has delivered. The certified medical team at Game Day Men's Health wants to help you feel better. Text 334-209-3706 to set up your free testosterone check and consult. Results back in as little as 15 minutes. Tired of feeling tired? Text 334-209-3706 to Game Day Men's Health in Auburn. They make you feel better.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering, or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz halfway through our program. That means it's time to talk about Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine in East Glen in Auburn and Pepper Tree in Montgomery. Talked with Kathy this morning down at Pepper Tree, and just business is booming in both places. They've been around 25 years in Montgomery. They opened up their Auburn location last October, so they've been there in Auburn now a year, just a little bit over a year, and man, one of our Christmas functions was catered by Pepper Tree. They catered my 4th of July this past year. Man, the food's outstanding, and they have the best wine selection anywhere. So go by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine in either location. tell them that Auburn Blitz sent you there, and they'll take care of you. But, again, go check them out in either location. Just kind of flash over real quick, talk about the Auburn Lady Tigers. Probably not where they want to be right now at 9-6. If you look at this conference, they're one of 5 teams that's 0-2 in league play, us, Georgia, Arkansas, Missouri, and Mississippi State. Then you got a host of teams at 1-1, Florida, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. And then you got the rest. LSU is 2-0, Alabama 2-0, Texas, South Carolina, and Kentucky at 2-0. If you look at Auburn women to this point, about a 30-point loss, 27-point loss to Ole Miss, where Deanna Gadsden had 30 of Auburn's 58 points in that game. So really a one-player show there. And then a close loss on the road to a very good LSU team by 10. So maybe not too bad, but that Ole Miss loss was at home, and you just can't do that. That was a bad loss. They lost to Norfolk State a week prior to that at home. So Auburn sitting at 9-6. They got Arkansas, who may be the worst team in the league, coming in on Thursday. Got to get that win because you got Kentucky on the road and Texas at home after that. Kentucky's ranked 15th. Texas is ranked 5th. So we'll see where the Lady Tigers go from here. 0-2 to start conference play.
Yeah, not what we all expected. It looked like signs were pointing to this program getting turned around. You still got a chance, but you better start winning some of these because it gets no easier in conference play for the Tigers. So we'll continue to follow until there's nothing to follow.
Before we bounce back to basketball on the guys' side, there's been an update on the NFL draft. I bring this up for one reason. Shedeur Sanders is no longer the odds-on favorite to be the number 1 pick. Cam Ward is the odds-on favorite to be the number 1 pick now, a guy that you didn't think we needed at Auburn. So he floated on down south to Miami and led them to 9 wins, and probably could have been more than that if they'd have had any semblance of a defense at all. What could have been, I guess, with that, but that's just more salt in the open wound. If you'd have had a chance and you had the chance to have Cam Ward here, what he could have possibly done for us this year.
I hope you learned a lesson. And
my God,
it feels like Auburn did. I mean, we're spending and in the market for more transfer portal guys than I even expected us to at this time last year. If you were to tell me, because a few of the shows that we had were in the next few years, we're going to be able to see which system works. Lane Kiffin going in the transfer portal and finishing 1 or 2 in the transfer portal, but doing very little on the high school recruiting ranks.
Right.
Or is Hugh Freeze's system of going and trying to win as many battles as you can with a high school and building it from there and then getting a few pieces here and there, but no big pieces really, which KLS could have been considered a big piece because a lot of people wanted him, and that turned out
he was the best piece out of the portal.
Pretty good for Auburn, but you get where I'm going with this. Now Auburn's in the top 5 in both. And
that's hard to do, man.
It is.
I mean, that's hard to do.
I think the lesson was learned, is my point. I really do. I think that
man. We all knew
what could have been.
Just get the guy.
Now we're hoping that Jackson Arnold it's the same.
Okay, well, here's my point.
It's the same with Jeremiah Alexander, though. To me, there's always a reason that guy doesn't produce at a big-time school. Can there be exceptions? Sure, there's exceptions to all rules.
Heck, Dylan
and I
Gabriel.
hope we find a big-time exception. But, yeah, Gabriel.
He left because he thought Jackson Arnold was going to take his position.
Well, I think Oklahoma thought that they had the guy that they wanted to play more than they wanted to play him. I don't know that he just left because he thought Jackson Arnold was about to beat him out. I think he left because Oklahoma wanted Jackson Arnold to have the chance to beat him out, and Dylan Gabriel read the tea leaves, and he said, I'm going to go on and go.
So, in essence, what does that matter? I mean, literally, he still left because he thought –
Oklahoma thought that they had something in place that was better than what they had.
Right. So, Dylan Gabriel leaves because he thinks Jackson Arnold's probably going to get his take his position. That's what you're saying.
Well, but Oklahoma has to really show their cards, the same as Quinn Ewers. Let's say Quinn Ewers goes somewhere else. If Texas shows their cards and they say, we're going to play Arch is starting next year.
I think they've already said that.
If that's what they're saying, then Quinn Ewers has no option then to go on. And I feel like that's what happened with Dylan Gabriel more than anything, is that they wanted to play Jackson Arnold.
Right,
they were let it be known to everyone
that they were moving on.
Now, does it work out that Arch Manning's playing better than Quinn Ewers has got his team in the semis? We'll see.
Right.
But that's the decision you're making if you do make that.
I think from the pressure standpoint of Texas and the Manning family, they're going, he's not going to sit over there another year. So I think Texas is in a unique position.
What if Texas wins it?
I don't know what you do, bro. I mean, seriously. I
know it.
I mean, but I think we all know from common sense that's what the feel is, because either Quinn Ewers pretty much said he's going to leave and go somewhere for one more year or go pro. You know, I think they probably had this conversation. And if not, they will lose Arch Manning. If Quinn Ewers comes back, he will not be back. They're not both coming back.
I wouldn't think so.
No, they're not coming back. I don't see that ever happening, moving on. I think some kind of deal has already been made, and we'll see how it all plays out when they do finish their season. All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I'm pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area. Go ahead and mark your calendars, sports fans. The Alabama State games are returning to the Magic City of Birmingham Jefferson County and surrounding communities June 13th through the 15th, 2025. We're talking about 20-plus sports open to athletes of all ages and abilities. The 42nd Alabama State Games will be something to behold. Mark your calendars now and be ready to go when registration opens. Visit allagames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more exciting announcements.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz here. A couple segments left on the show today. I got some comments coming in. John said it's cold outside, no doubt about it. And he also made a comment back on the topic NIL may have influenced that as well. I don't know exactly where we were when we were talking about that, John, so I missed that comment. But get your comments in. We'll get to those. I want to shift back over, like we were saying, to Auburn basketball for just a few minutes before we leave. Again, the game tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN2 following the Florida-Tennessee game. Which will start at 6. So it's going to be a good lineup of basketball there tonight for everybody to watch. All right, in the next, counting the Texas game, the first 6 SEC games, I want you to tell me what you think Auburn's record is going to be. You got on the road at Texas tonight, then home, then on the road to South Carolina on Saturday. South Carolina's 10-4. They did not look good this past Saturday. We'll see. That game's at noon Saturday. Then you got Mississippi State's ranked 14th coming into Neville Arena, and then you're back on the road to Georgia, and then home to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. And currently that's a number 1 versus a number 2, which is crazy to think. And then you got LSU. So you got Texas, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU. What's Auburn's record in the first 6 games, the first third of the SEC schedule?
I mean, we'll be highly favored outside of the Tennessee game, but all matchups are where you want them, every single one of them. Like if you had to go down and pick, okay, I'll go play Georgia there. You talked me into it. I'll go to Texas and South Carolina. Boy, I don't want to go over to the hump, play Mississippi State right now. I don't want any part of that. Get them at home.
Get them at home.
Tennessee.
Get them at home.
Get them at home.
Hey, the ESPN matchup predictor has Auburn 70% favored in the Tennessee matchup.
Well, that's what it should be at home. But if we went over there, it'd probably be the opposite.
It'd be flipped.
You know, and tonight you look at, this week you see Tennessee and Florida playing one another. Is that tonight or tomorrow?
It's tonight. It's I said it's right before our game, remember? 6 o'clock.
Tennessee's not favored in that game. I think it's 2.5-point favorite for Florida. And I think if Auburn were going to Florida tonight, it may be even or somewhere closer to that, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn wouldn't be a dog going down to Florida too. So you can't ask for a better opening schedule than we have. Now, are we going to win them all? I don't know. It's really tough to win all of those, but Auburn will be favored highly in all.
You know, it's weird. I just pulled up the Florida-Tennessee. Florida is a 2.5-point favorite in the game, but the matchup predictor has Tennessee 59-41. So
it tells you the money knows that home arena
means something.
Means a lot when it comes to if I'm going to put my money on it.
Yeah,
I'm going to pick the one that's at home.
Yeah, if they're a good, solid program,
and
like
they are.
Florida,
they're
the top
really,
6.
really good team.
So again, is it beyond the realm of possibility to say Auburn goes 6-0 in these first 6 games?
No. I think
you think they do go 6-0.
I do think they go 6-0 in the first 6, and I think that you've got a couple of road games on that back end that are really tough. I mean, the idea that you're going to go over to Tuscaloosa and win, I don't think any of us necessarily think that we can't, because we can. But there's a few of those matchups that are a little tougher. But some years the scheduling just falls in perfect, and this one happens.
Let's look at the next 6. That'll get us to 12 games in conference play, which means you only have 6 left. So the next 6 is Auburn on the road at Ole Miss, Oklahoma coming to Auburn. I mean, we just saw what Oklahoma is. No. Florida coming to Auburn. Auburn going to Vanderbilt. Auburn going to Alabama. And Arkansas coming to Auburn.
The Vandy and Alabama games are scary.
Because
Alabama
they're on the road.
way more than
because
Vandy,
they're on the road.
But I went and sat, was it last year or the year before, in that Vandy Coliseum and watched us lose to a very subpar team to us in Vandy, and it can happen on the road, especially at that place. It's just a weird Coliseum. I don't know.
It is very weird.
Different setup.
It's very weird. All right, and then Auburn, might as well, we did the first 12, might as well do the last 6. The last 6 games, Georgia at Auburn, Ole Miss at Auburn, Auburn traveling to Kentucky, which will be really tough. We ain't won up there since dadgum. You and I were just shy of diapers. So March, you go into March, and then you play Texas A&M on the road, going to be tough, and then you got Alabama at home. So I think the last 6 that's the toughest stretch on the whole schedule for Auburn.
I think we'll go 15-3, and I think the 3 games that we'll lose.
15-3.
I think we've got a great chance. Now, we could fall flat on our face, but if I look at that schedule, I think we're going to lose at Tuscaloosa, we're going to lose at Kentucky, and lose at A&M. I don't want to play Buzz over in Texas A&M and think that we're going to win. Now, is there a chance we could win one of those 3? Shoot, yeah. We could win all of them.
You could.
But if I were to just really look down at that schedule and pick our record, I would say
it really is a favor. For this team, as good as it is, you get a lot of the tough games at home. I mean, I know you split with Alabama, and I know you got to go on the road with Kentucky, but you get Florida at home. You get Tennessee at home. I mean, works out pretty doggone good.
It's great matchups. When you're going through it, I can be a little negative when it comes to looking at this stuff and think that we've got a really solid path to getting to 15 wins in this league this year. The matchups are good, because if you flip-flopped a few of those, I don't know that I'd pick us to go to Mississippi State and win right now, would you?
Be real tough.
Real tough. I don't know that I would pick us to go to Florida and win right now.
We've always struggled going down there.
Tennessee, I would dang sure wouldn't pick us to go over there and win right now.
So they're 5 to 7 teams just like us. When you have to go to their place, you're not going to be favored. I mean, it's almost anticipated that you're going to lose. So you got to have a great team, and you got to have a lot of good things go your way. All right, up against the final break of the show. One final segment coming up right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
For air that's cool and clean, call Senza Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Senza Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensagreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensagreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Senza Green.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare. Serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Go ahead and mark your calendars, sports fans. The Alabama State games are returning to the Magic City of Birmingham, Jefferson County, and surrounding communities June 13th through the 15th, 2025. We're talking about 20-plus sports open to athletes of all ages and abilities. The 42nd Alabama State games will be something to behold. Mark your calendars now and be ready to go when registration opens. Visit allagames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more exciting announcements. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment here on the program. Again, I want to thank Russell Do-It Center, Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and Sensa Green, all for being our partners here on the program. All of our sponsors, for that matter, we really appreciate all of them. College football playoff, Randy, we won't be back on this show before the college football playoff games are played. We'll be on the podcast every morning, 8 o'clock. We encourage everybody to catch us there and tune us in on Facebook and YouTube. Go out there and subscribe if you haven't done that. Get us over the 500 hump so I can give some daggum hats and shirts away. I've been trying to give this stuff away. All you got to do is need 2 more people to get us to 500. We rocketed up in 2 months, and then we've kind of just stopped right there. So y'all spread the word, help us out. We appreciate all the kind comments out there. We'll give some stuff away. College football playoff, Texas and Ohio State at the Cotton Bowl. That game will be on Friday. But up first, it'll be the Orange Bowl, Penn State, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 2.5-point favorite. That game will kick off at 6:30 on ESPN on Thursday night. We'll start there. Thoughts on that game? Obviously, it's a classic name matchup.
And I think 2 very good defensive football teams, 2 teams that probably with all that the SEC has won over the last 12 to 15 years, we look at those 2 teams and not think they're up to the standard that the rest of the SEC is, but my eyes tell me differently this year. I think it's one of those years where defense may win this thing. Mm-hmm. You play clean football and you get 20 points, you might win some games that in the past you had to get to 45 to win some of these games. But I don't think we're a quarterback-driven league this year. I think that overall the quarterback plays maybe down a little bit, and we don't have the guys that are putting the points up on the board. Maybe the defenses are catching up a little bit. It's the reason for that. So,
but you don't see any of the top really quarterbacks left in the playoffs,
except Quinn Ewers. Going into the season, I mean, Quinn Ewers was a
I'm saying that, based on the draft projections and all that, you don't really see. I mean, Shedeur Sanders not in the playoffs. Cam Ward not in the playoffs. I mean, you don't really. So I'm not diminishing any of those guys. I will say this about Quinn Ewers. I mean, there's multiple times here in the last few games, Texas offense, it'll go missing for 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters. He hasn't been. He's a good quarterback.
He definitely is.
But he
made some plays in that football game too that were difference makers.
Yeah, but there's some stuff still missing with that Texas offense, and they've again.
Well, I think every team in the country though can say that, Brett. There's not one offense that I go, that's Alabama with Devontae Smith. Or
Ohio State right now.
That's Clemson.
Ohio State right now. In their last 2 performances, man, they look so much better than everybody else in the country.
But defensively, you got to get after the quarterback. He's not a world beater.
No, Will Howard's not a world beater.
But
right
Will
now,
Howard
he's
sit back there and pick you apart, he can.
Jeremiah Smith looks outstanding.
Michigan had the formula for stopping him. And they put pressure on him all day. So, I think that Ohio State's the most talented team left, but they've had their moments throughout the season where they didn't look like they were some juggernaut either. And I don't think Will Howard's some top-tier quarterback. I think he's a decent piece, but I don't think he's a top tier. Can you expose it? You got to get past their offensive line. Yep. That's part of it, too. And they played exceptionally well here in this early part of this playoff run.
So your pick in those 2 games, if you got
Penn State. I think Penn State's very good defensively, and I think that's going to bode well for them. And then I like Ohio State, too. I think Ohio State, I like them to win the national championship. I think they're far and away the most talented team.
They are the most talented roster. They spent more money than anybody else.
But I like the 2 matchups being the way that they are.
Yeah.
If you flip-flop those, I don't think I'd get as intrigued as I am here because the matchup with Penn State and Notre Dame, they're a lot alike.
Right.
And then if you told me Texas beat Ohio State, sure. I can buy that. That's a very talented team.
Well, I mean, you look at the point spreads. I mean, it's 5.5 and 2.5. I mean, this is not some, and then playing in the Cotton Bowl may even things out a little bit for Texas there. I want to get over to this real quick because we talked about it a little bit on the podcast. We'll talk about it some more tomorrow. I said this morning that ESPN and then coacheshotseat.com came out and they talked about this, the 10 hottest seats in the country. I'll start at 10. Mark Stoops at Kentucky, and he's in year 12. By far the longest running coach on this list. Nobody else is even close. Brent Pry at Virginia Tech after 3 years is at 9. Venables is at 8, 3rd year for Oklahoma. Brent Bennon from Arizona in his first year went 4-8. It's already on the hot seat. Mike Loxley at Maryland in his 6th year is at number 6. Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati is at 5 in his 2nd year. Lincoln Riley, and he should be after they gave him the daggum world 3rd year. He's in number 4. Hugh Freeze at Auburn is at the number 3 spot after 2 years at Auburn. Luke Fickell at Wisconsin definitely is fickle at best. And then Kenny Burns at Kent State, which, I mean, he's 1-23. My God. I don't even know how he even has a seat left if you're 1-23. So if you take Kenny Burns off this list, Luke Fickell and Hugh Freeze are at the top with major programs. Wisconsin, Auburn, and then Lincoln Riley coming in at USC behind them.
Well, Wisconsin not used to going 13-13 his first 2 years. So that record's not going to get it done, and that price tag's not going to get it done. No. 7.6 for Luke Fickell over at Wisconsin. That's a big number. They expect better than what they're getting. Of course, Auburn, I mean, Hugh Freeze got to expect to be on one. He's 11-14 at Auburn University.
Numbers don't lie, man.
I mean, it is what it is. You got to win football games at some point. Now, we're not spending up to the level that some of these programs that got them on the hot seat, but Lincoln Riley's 25-14 there at USC, making $10 million a year. There's a couple of price tags here that I think is the reason that they're on the hot seat. That's one. And then I think Mark Stoops, even though he's done a tremendous job at Kentucky,
he's played his way out there.
Well, they bounced it. They bumped this thing up to $9 million a year. So at a certain point, you go, am I getting what I'm paying for? Can I go and spend that type of money and get better? I don't have that answer.
I don't
really.
either. Neither do I.
But that is a big price tag.
They are paying him a boatload of money. And again, the reason he's been there 12 years because I think a lot of times they've gone, he's about as good as we can get here.
I agree.
And then maybe times have changed. We'll see. We'll talk more about that in the morning on the podcast, go a little bit more in depth. And obviously we'll be back on there with you tomorrow here at noon for the Auburn Blitz Show. For Andy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll be able to see you tomorrow.